Well, good morning, YouTube. This is Lady G with your morning tea. And for those of you that may not know me, my name is Gayla. I am a licensed evangelist. I am an encourager and exalter. I am a stand-up comedian, clean, and I am a divorce coach. But as the time goes on, we'll get more acquainted. But right now, let's just get down to it. How many of you have gone on a cruise? Well, my daughters had taken me on a cruise for my birthday, and we went to Cozy Mail, the Cayman Islands, and Jamaica. Wonderful. But there was something, we had to get a lot of identification. We had to get passports and birth certificates, and we had to get a lot of things in order to get ready to prepare for the cruise. Well, once we got to the ship, we had to go through customs. And going through customs, we had to show our identification in order to gain entrance on the ship. Once we got on the ship, they gave us identification badges. These badges were used if we wanted to go like to one of the restaurants on the ship, or once the ship docked at a port and we wanted to go on an excursion or go shopping, we had to swipe our badges to get off, and then we had to swipe those badges to get on. And those badges, once you swiped it, the little computer would show your picture and it would have your identification. So the crew and the captain knew everybody that was on the ship. The captain also had a ship manifest which listed everyone's name, and he knew who was on his ship. Now, I want you to keep that in mind as we go on today with our words of encouragement. So it is, I'm thinking about a time when Jesus, after he had performed the miracle of feeding the 5,000 with the 2 fish and the 5 loaves of bread. After the miracle and everything, and they had packed up their baskets and they were getting ready to go, Jesus goes to the disciples and he says, "Meet me on the other side." So as Jesus goes away and he goes into the mountains to pray, the disciples, being obedient, they board a ship and they proceed to the other side. Now, once they got on this ship, in order to go to the other side, they were going to Capernaum. And to get there, they had to go across the Sea of Galilee. Well, as fate would have it, as they got midway into the cruise, a storm came. The wind was contrary. The waters were boisterous. The waves were beating on the ship, and they were afraid. And I can imagine them screaming like little girls, and they're being tossed up, and they don't know what to do. They're too afraid. They've gone too far to go back, but they're too afraid to go forward. So here there are 4 men. You have Peter, you have his brother Andrew, you have James and his brother John, and they're on this ship, and they're afraid, and they're screaming, they're quaking, and they're shaking, and they're screaming like little girls because it's dark and everything is happening, and things kind of magnify in the nighttime. And all of a sudden they see something come towards them on this water. And they look up and they're like, "Oh Lord, we're going to die. It's a ghost. It's a spirit." Oh, and now they're afraid. These 4 grown men, they're on this ship and they are afraid. Jesus, as he approached them, he said, "Be not afraid, for it is I." And Peter activated his faith and he said, "Lord, if it be thou, bid me to come." And Jesus reached, he said, "Come." So Peter, now the storm, the waves are still beating, the wind is still blowing, the ship is still tossed and rocking. The other men are still on, the disciples are still screaming and crying out because they're still afraid. But Peter steps out in the midst of the storm, off the ship. But as he steps off the ship, the waves are still coming. The wind is still blowing. He's still hearing the brother and the other disciples in the background. I can imagine them saying, "Peter, you crazy. That's a spirit. Get back here." But he steps out on the water and he proceeds towards Jesus. But the wind, and he got distracted by what was going on around him, the wind, the waves, and the boat. And he began to sink, but he caught on to his faith again. He said, "Lord, save me." So Jesus reaches out and he takes him back to the ship and he says, "Oh, ye of little faith." And he calms the storm. Isn't that just like life? When you're just sailing on, minding your own business, in the midst of your cruise, a storm pops up and you're being tossed and you're being shaken. Maybe you're on the ship with your husband and you're going somewhere and you started out on this cruise with him, but all of a sudden, honey done jumped overboard. Maybe you on the ship with wifey and the storm rages and confusion comes and confusion and arguing and things start to happen. And next thing you know, wifey, she jumped overboard. And you're looking around and you're trying to find some common people, somebody that you can attach yourself to, you can connect to, but they jumped overboard. They're gone. You don't know. That's how it is in life. Things happen. I believe that storms come in our lives and it shakes things up and it tosses things up and it brings things to the surface so you can see what you're working with. I would like to ask you a question this morning. Who's on your ship? Is there someone on your ship that when the storm comes, they're going to help you pray through? Do you have anybody on your ship that have a prayer life? Is there anyone on your ship that's a motivator, that can encourage you, that can help build you up? Is there anybody on the ship that know Jesus? Who's on your ship? It's important to know because a lot of people on the ship are cheering. I remember when we were docked in Cozy Mail and we had went on a shopping excursion and we had reboarded the ship. And the ship had, because he gives you warning signs horns before he pulls off. And he had given those two, had blown that horn twice. And all of a sudden I heard a bunch of cheering and I went to the balcony and I looked out and there was this one man and he was running with everything he had. He was running trying to make the ship because the ship was getting ready to pull out from dock. He had teddy bears and he had bags and he had all kinds of gifts and he was running. And the faster he ran, the more things he dropped. But everybody was on the ship. We had 3 different ships docked and everybody was on the balconies going, run, 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 run. But some was like, he ain't gonna make it. He ain't gonna make it, man. He ain't gonna make it. But some was saying, come on, you can make it. Run, run, run. And he made it just in time because as soon as he boarded, he dropped a lot of things. He lost a lot of things. But when he got on that ship, they pulled up the door and began to back out. Everybody on your ship is not cheering for you. Some people are cheering, make it, you can do it. Come on, run, you can do it. Hang in there. You can do it. But then you have those few saying, I hope she failed. I hope he don't make it. You have haters. You need haters. Don't hate the haters. You need the haters because the haters encourage you. They help you activate your faith. They help you to depend on God. So I just wanted to stop by this morning to give you a few words of encouragement and to give you a thought for today. And the thought for today is, who's on your ship? Yeah. Who's on your ship? Are there haters? Are there encouragers? Are they intimidators? Who's on your ship? Are they there to do you good? Do you harm? Take some inventory. Swipe some badges. Check out your ship manifest. It's okay if they fall off and jump overboard. You're going to make it. You're going to be all right. But during the course of your day, I want you to look around. And I want you to do a check. And ask yourself, man, who's on your ship? This has been your Morning Tea with Lady G. And let's do this again sometime soon. Talk to y'all later, YouTube. Bye.